The S-Cross is Suzuki's answer to the Nissan Qashqai. Now, while it may look like a 4x4, its primary purpose is to be a practical family car that's cheap to run and pleasant to drive. The S-Cross went on sale in 2013, but it's worth us revisiting because Suzuki has just added a dual-clutch automatic gearbox, which should make it better to drive. But before we come to that, let's see how much space this family car has to offer. Cue baby buggy. With 430 litres of space, the S-Cross matches the Nissan Qashqai, and you get a false floor to vary the load height. The rear seats also fold down to be almost completely flat. On most versions of this car, you can sit two adults, one behind the other, quite comfortably. However, if you go for the top of the range SZ5, it comes with this panoramic glass roof, which eats into headroom. Not something that I really need to be concerned with, though. And you get ISOFIX points as standard, which means you can safely mount those child seats. In the front, the S-Cross is equally spacious, with several storage spaces and enough adjustment in the seat and steering wheel to find a good driving position. Perceived quality in here is not up to Qashqai's standards. There's a fiddly stereo which you can't see when the sun is shining on it, hard scratchy plastics and doors that sound tinny when they close. And if you go for the 1.6 litre diesel, there's quite an unpleasant noise under acceleration. The new gearbox is only available with the diesel engine. However, it does shift smoothly and responds well when you take control with these steering wheel mounted paddles. And sport mode is really a bit of a misnomer because all it does is hold on to the revs, which makes the S-Cross even noisier. And with a 0 to 60 time of 13 seconds, it's hardly what I would call sporty. Better then to leave the car in its standard setting and take things a little easier. Even then, the ride is firmer than ideal and you hear a lot of road and wind noise. Okay, so the raised driving position means you get excellent forward visibility, but the over-the-shoulder blind spot is quite annoying. The steering could be a little more precise in terms of telling you where the grip is, but it's not bad. As far as driving goes then, the S-Cross is comfortably beaten by the class-leading Qashqai, but Suzuki fights back with value. With prices starting at £14,000, not only does the S-Cross undercut most other crossovers, it's also cheaper than a lot of family hatchbacks. Plus, it's available with either front or four-wheel drive. Suzuki's reliability record is excellent, and the diesel engine in particular is almost as economical as that in the Nissan, returning 67 miles per gallon in EU tests and in our hands a respectable 51 miles per gallon. And it's the diesel we'd recommend if you're going to buy an S-Cross, because while the petrol alternative might be cheaper, it also feels underpowered. Solid safety credentials and decent levels of standard specification adds to the Suzuki's appeal. But for our money, we still prefer the Nissan Qashqai. However, if you do find yourself in a Suzuki showroom, you may well be swayed by the chunkier, funkier styling of the Vitara. You can see our Vitara video by clicking here, or the similarly priced SsangYong Tivoli by clicking here. Don't forget to subscribe to the Telegraph Cars YouTube channel by clicking up here, and visit the Telegraph Cars website by clicking here.